fucking VIP van because they had the lights in the ceiling too,
Yeah.
like
Mood lighting,
Yeah. They had like mood lighting and shit.
RGB on the interior, leather,
Yeah.
captain seats, reclinable, cruise
fuck's
control,
sake?
steering control,
Dude, and it was like a cockpit in the front seat. You know what I mean? Like the center console was huge,
Yeah,
so
I
you
love
were
those
like
things.
fucking in it. Those shits were so sick. But anyways, yeah, dude, I just that's really interesting to me. So when you guys would roll up in the morning, what was your like preferred, spot to be at?
I didn't have a preference, honestly.
Well, by the end of it, so like your last trip, what would you lean towards? Or like, what was it like? All right, we got to go hit this before we leave. Or like when you're going down there, what's like, all right, this is the track, or like this is what I really, really want to do.
Well, everyone had their own like program. Everyone had their own like goals and that they wanted to do.
Right.
But then everyone also wanted to drive together. So like it took a couple of trips for everyone to get on sync with each other.
Yeah.
So like you'd be with someone and you guys would go drive this track and you're like, all right, where's everyone else at? And you just end up passing everyone because you have to drive between each track.
Yeah.
And then at one point, everyone knew lunch, 12 o'clock, hit the cafeteria, go eat, regroup.
That's right. Did they shut it down at
No.
noon, or was that just what you guys did?
I think they did. 'Cause I remember like everything was like kind of just like quiet for like
The zoo cafeteria?
the cafeteria. I think it was
Yeah.
kind of like quiet-ish like during lunchtime because everybody was like eating and stuff.
That's everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, and it's huge and it's super spread out.
Yeah.
Um.
But we drove the past 3 trips. We were always, going there to meet up with the guys from Yokota,
Oh, gotcha.
Doink Squad.
Yeah.
So
Doink
like
Squad?
Misawa boys and Yokota boys ended up
Forming an alliance.
merging.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Becoming one.
And then we became the new Americans in Japan because of the whole travel restriction.
Yeah.
Because before it'd be like stateside cruise traveling to Japan and
Right.
being the Americans,
Right.
and then there's the Australians, and then you had the local Americans, local people, Australians, or anyone that lived there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the Yokota boys, Misawa boys ended up being like the Americans for a couple years.
Right.
And
That was interesting too. Whenever you would
Yeah.
go there, because you would have the Aussies would have like their own camp. You know what I mean? And, like you'd roll through power vehicles basically, and it'd be like
Yeah.
nothing but Australians. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, all right, I see you.
oh, mate.
Hello, mate.
Yeah, that was weird for me, dude, because it's like we obviously have our own little like ecosystem in Misawa, and then you go to Minami or like you go to Ebisu Matsuri of any kind, and it was like, oh, there's other Westerners here. Like, what's up?
Like, yo, you're
Um,
me.
You're me, except crikey.
Crocody. Mate.
Shout out to our Australian listeners, by the way. We love y'all.
Yeah, I never had a bad interaction with any of those guys.
Oh hell no, yeah, they were
They're
chill.
cool
dude.
as hell. Yeah.
Yeah, they
the
brought
ones I
and
met
they
at
brought
least.
like the homies too. Like they would come out deep.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I see you guys. Yeah, dude. I think for me, and I think Quan would probably agree with this too. Like school course was the fucking jam.
I love that school course.
But it was so familiar too, and so when you go to North Course or you
Yeah.
go to some, or even Minami, it's like they're
Dude.
so much faster and more spread out. Like they're sweepers, for most of it, not like all of it. But North Course, I remember like I was riding along with Donnie because he was like, "All right, so here's like the lines you want to take, and here's where you want to be shifting and whatever." And we were driving his JZX 100 that neither of us fucking knew, and so he's like, "All right, bad, so I'll show you." And he was entering at like 140 kilometers an hour. I'm like, Jesus Christ!
Which track?
At
Which-
North Course.
North Course?
You're like, yeah, this is how you do it.
You come in fucking cooking, dude. And I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. I was like, I'm not qualified for this.
Yeah.
What was the adjustment like for you to go from MSP to like a fast track like that?
So before my actual first trip there, I went there once with all the boys to just go
Right.
and experience it firsthand because it was always been a dream of mine to go there. And then the time I actually brought my vehicle, prior to going there, I actually played with that sim setup on
Yeah.
a Assetto Corsa and got on the maps and just kind of like just to figure it out a little bit.
Right.
And then my first time bringing my car was actually the Chaser when I got it. Dude, I bought that Chaser on the auction. A month later, had it fully like suspension tuned out.
Yeah.
I had JCI on it, like right after I got it. And took
This
it
was the
straight
new-
to Ebisu, dude.
This was the new Chaser, right?
Yeah.
Not the GX100, but the JZX.
JZX.
All right, bet. And that was 6-speed?
5.
Okay.
The JZX?
R154, right?
R154, 5 speed.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was the only one that was driving, but like everyone decided to come and like hang out. So like,
Oh,
a
no shit.
a van full of homies.
Yeah.
Van full of homies follow me down in my drift car.
It was
And-
you were the only car that went?
Yeah.
What
Misawa, no-
time was this? You said you went 5 times.
This was Fall Matsuri. This is probably my 3rd time there.
Okay. What was like the most beefed out where you guys had everybody like rolling deep?
The last one I went to.
Okay. And that was like you, DC, Hal.
So we had DC, me, DC, Hal, Bryant, Brady, who else? I think that was it for Misawa, but then like a handful of the homies came along with. Oh, Jared Gonzalez, he's another new guy.
Yeah.
He has that red Mark II.
Mm-hmm. I've talked to him here and there.
So we were rolling deep, and then of course the 4 or 5 guys from Yokota.
Yeah.
That drove with us all the time that we went together. We all linked up together.
Nice.
So just massive crew.
Yeah. That's sick. And I like, obviously that was like the content trip. Like you guys are like videos for days. Like, oh, we're going to run trains.
Kyle, I don't know if you ever met him or heard of him, but he was an AFN guy too from Yokota. So he did all like the video and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he got stationed in Okinawa and still would come back to go like do that. I was like, yeah, it's fun.
What do you think is like the biggest benefit? I mean, aside from just like doing something different and like a different track, you know, like do you think your driving at Ebisu affected, you know, how you drove at MSP?
I started getting I don't know, MSP has its own style. You can only like you can get crazier at MSP for sure. But like it's just it's smaller and tighter.
Yeah.
Like honestly, with like most of our cars being relatively stock,
Right.
other than just like good suspension and a turbo.
Mm-hmm. It was a good equalizer, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because especially being in a lower powered car, it was like I was still able to keep up with Singletary or Jay and his Turbo SR, like, you know, most of those guys.
And we all ran smaller tires too.
At MSP.
Yeah.
Would you purposely like what did you figure that out before you went to Ebisu for the first time, or was that after like a time or two and you're like, oh shit, we need fucking grippy or shit?
I played with both.
Yeah.
I personally MSP I like 235.
Mm-hmm.
But I also really like 265 is way better. 235 front, 265 rear.
Damn, bro.
That was solid. But of course, it's more expensive.
Right.
And I wasn't a big bone budget kind of guy. So like 235 square just all around was mostly my go-to.
Yeah.
Kenda and then Volino.
You should have put like an Arby's fucking livery on the car. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, dude.
Got the meats.
Send nukes.
What? Send nukes? Is that what you said?
One of our buddies, Mark, he stopped drifting after some time, but he was going hard for a minute. And he was like, we were in the pits. He's like, dude, I'm trying to get sponsorship. I was like, by who? He's like, John Deere. She was like, yeah, I'm going to get John Deere fucking livery, but I'm going to get sponsored. I'm going to get tire hookups.
Tractor tires.
Like, hey, man, I hope you succeed.
Farmersmeats.com.
Dude, some people would come and like take it real serious. And it was like, all right, it's not like that.
If you can apply for any kind of sponsorship that'll give you any kind of discount on tires is solid.
Right.
Because that shit fucking is expensive.
Facts.
It does. I will say the nice thing over there is like you could pick up some Kara 20s for like $50 a pop, which you just can't do here.
Yeah, Kenda Kara 20s is God's tire.
Right. Especially over there, dude. They're cheap.
They're
Like,
cheap.
Super, super cheap.
You can get them delivered from Amazon JP to your front doorstep in like 20 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the event like you're at MSP, you can always drive to Up Garage and get a pair for. There's a little bit of a markup, but it's still local.
Right. Yeah, because I think over there we paid for my size. It was like a 215 45 17, right? And I think it was like $56 a piece. And then you come here and that's like an $80 or $90 tire. Just makes it so much more expensive. I mean, it's almost twice the cost just for tires, and it's like, at what point is it just too much? You know, I mean, we're getting cheaper shit over here for sure, especially when you're looking at like, you know, fucking Ling Longs and Acceleras and Volinos and whatever. But I think that's a big difference too. Is like just the cost of everything. I feel like over there, like parts, tires, the cars themselves, like the value was, even seat time was cheaper.
Mhm.
I mean, we paid what, 70, $65 with the exchange rate to drift all day.
Yeah.
So how much was
a little bit of a discount with the membership?
Yeah.
Actually, a solid discount.
How much was Ebisu to get in for the Matsuri?
Expensive.
Was it?
Here was my budget for the whole trip in general. $1,300 total.
And that's if you're already local, bringing your own car.
Bring your car, drive your drift car there, load all your gear and equipment and tires with you.
Right.
Tolls, gas, food, hotel, track fee, $1,200, $1,300.
Yeah.
On average.
Yeah, true. It was a lot. But at the same point, it's like you're never going to get that experience
Ever.
anywhere else. You know what I mean? Like just the
You
variety.
can save money and go budget tires.
Yeah.
Like some Z-Techs or like High Flies. High Flies is another popular, cheaper tire.
Right.
The Linglong, they had a Linglong truck at Ebisu.
Mm-hmm.
You call the Linglong truck tire guy and get $50 tires.
Yeah.
$235.
Yep. How were they though? Not
They're
bad.
good.
Doable?
You just can't hot lap them.
Yeah.
You got to give them time to cool down, but they'll last.
Nice.
And then Kenda's was the sweet spot. Good life, good grip, good side bite, and then of course your Volino Grivas
Yeah.
or the next bump up for like they grip the same as Kenda's, maybe a little bit more, and then they last a little bit longer for like an extra. I don't know, it was like $20 per tire.
Yeah.
And then the next bump up would be like the Pergia, Volino Pergia.
I got you.
Those will last forever and have maximum grip potential.
Damn.
But of course, they're like out of the budget for me.
Right.
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 I had them once.
I
I was like, that was good. 265, a pair of tried them out. I was like, but for a kind of guy like me, like it's just not. I just get doubled. I get another extra pair of tires for that price.
Right.
More seat time.
Yeah.
Reliable grip.
I got you. And then Quan, like, what was the highlight for you when we went? That was a busy couple days.
It was busy.
It was like driving, fixing shit, and I'm sure it was the same when you guys went. It was always
Dude,
like,
that weekend flies, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
does, dude. It's
does.
like driving,
flies.
troubleshoot.
I think once we got the JZX up and running with the radiator issues, and then how fast you got it out, a radiator fix, I think that was pretty funny. Like we hit like a literal pit crew that.
Dude, and Donnie was getting pissed. I wouldn't say he was getting pissed, but he was like,
Yeah.
he hit fuck it mode real quick.
Yeah.
Because at first, when we first went down there, he was like, all right, guys, let's fucking, try to take care of the car a little bit. Like, let's stay away from the walls. Like, that was the two rules. Was school course on that back turn,
Yeah.
there's that huge drop off, right? So it's like if you go off, it's like 8 inches or whatever of just still your dirt.
Right.
And then you've got the wall at the front end. So he was like, all right, let's try not to like wall tap or go off so we don't fuck anything up.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it wasn't our car. So I was like, all right, bet.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we kept having cooling issues like over and over and over. And so he hit fuck it mode quick and was like, he hit the wall. Then it was like, all right, let's just cut a hole in the hood. Like,
and like the people next door to us, they were like, what, the next pit over, they just watching him like cut something. And I think I have a video of him just cutting. They were just like watching like,
yeah, we cut a window and then you just like folded the metal up.
They were just like, Nani?
Dude, some of the shit we get away with out there is fucking. You look back and be like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like we ruined a good hood.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was, dude. It was constantly. It felt like everything was going on all the time.
Yeah.
And that was just with us all being together. You know what I mean? That's not like split up, everybody doing their own thing. But it was like, all right, we're gonna drive this track for a little bit, and then we're gonna get food, and then. But you didn't even. I don't think we left Ebisu once.
No, because we stayed there the whole time.
Yeah, we had food at the restaurant on Minami.
Yep.
And then there was also the cafeteria, and then
You had your tent.
all the events, and then I think we did like a Lawson's run beforehand and
Yeah.
just grabbed like a bunch of shit. So
Yeah, so we were straight.
in a cooler, yes, we're chilling. That was cold though, dude. That was spring Matsuri, right? So it was still like
yeah,
30, 40 degrees.
I had to
at
turn the
night.
car on to get some heat on because I was like freezing.
You and Donnie both were like idle in the cars all night.
Yeah. I was like freezing.
I just had 1,000 blankets like chilling.
Yeah, I was like, fuck you, bro.
Hey man,
Night drifting was pretty bad with the temps. It was cold.
did you guys go year round? Did you do summer Matsuri too?
Yeah.
Was that the opposite? Was that just like way too hot?
No, I love summer Matsuri.
Really?
That was my favorite. Everyone says it's too hot, but dude,
Japan's a different
we got
kinda
like
hot.
we got like a month of summer in Misawa.
Right.
So it's like just to be not snow and cold and wet and cloudy and darkness.
Yeah,
It's fun.
for real. What do you think about? We talked about this a little bit before the podcast, but so let's talk about Minami a little bit with the new